Hey guys, it's Jade. So today I'm here with a full coverage foundation routine. This is basically what I do if I want to go out and have my skin looking still healthy and glowing, but just smooth and gorgeous. And if you have any acne or blemishes or just bad spots, this is going to help cover those. As well, I touch on covering some dark circles as well. So if you want to know how to do your foundation like I do, then just keep on watching. So this is my skin. I'm pretty lucky to have pretty good skin most of the time. I mean, I do get pimples and breakouts, but only quite occasionally, and they happen to be, you know, in the most kind of awkward spot when I do get them. Like, are you serious? Between my eyes? Ugh. Okay, so first things first, you want to prime your face. Primer is so important because not only is it going to help your foundation last longer on your skin, it's going to make the application a lot more smooth, and it's going to help fill in any kind of pores or imperfections on your skin and make your skin look a lot smoother, a lot healthier, and a lot glowier as well. What primer you use is up to you. There are many different types out there catering to all different skin types. So there's definitely ones for dry skin, which are a little bit more moisturizing. There's mattifying ones for oily skin. There's also color correcting ones. You can get a green primer to help counteract any red tones in your skin. The primer I'm going to use today is my Arbonne makeup primer. I've got combination, you know, oily skin, mostly oily on my T-zone. The rest of my skin's quite fine, so I find this primer works really well. It's not too moisturizing, but it is still enough moisturizing to help my foundation go on smoothly. So I am just using a pump. It's quite a bit, but I want to get down my neck as well. So basically, just rub it onto your skin. It's really important to make sure that you have clean hands. If you've been touching stuff and you rub it on your face, you know, cross-contamination, all that jazz. So clean hands is the best. Also like to do kind of around my ears and definitely down my neck, which is so important. Okay, so now's the time I like to do a little bit of color correcting if need be. I don't always do this, but for a full coverage foundation routine, this is a must. So I have this Pro Color ring, which is from Mehron. It's just got lots of different colors on there, and it can help counteract all different areas of your face. So I'm going to use the green on my pimple. So what I like to do is literally just dab it on. If you go back in for more product, make sure you use a different finger. And I don't really like to rub it in too much, because when we put our foundation on, that's basically going to blend all of that away. And if we've already rubbed it in a fair bit, it's going to basically be like we haven't put anything on. So I just like to literally pack it on. Now for under eye circles, you can either use a peach or a yellow corrector, depending on what your circles are like. Mine are more kind of blue today, so I'm going to use the peach color. Again, ring fingers are really good for this because they're the weakest finger. You're not going to damage your delicate eye area, so you need to be very careful around your eye area. Ooh, that's looking good. Okay, so the foundation I'm going to use today is my Napoleon Purdy Stroke of Genius Liquid Cashmere Foundation. This is in the shade Look 2. I have done a review of this foundation in the past, so I'll link it in the description box below for you guys. This one does come with a brush on the end, so it does make it handy, or you can use your own kind of brush or your fingers or whatever you like. Personally, I find that like stippling brushes are fantastic. This one needs to be washed, so I'm not going to use this one today, but stippling brushes are really good. It gives you a really nice airbrush kind of effect to your foundation. If you like, just normal foundation brushes can be fantastic as well. However, they can kind of leave some streak marks in there. So what I'll do is I'll do half of my face with a foundation brush, the other half with a stippling brush, and you guys can kind of see the difference. If you can notice it, it might not show up on camera, but you know, you have your own personal preference and what product you like best and all that jazz. So I'm going to squeeze some of this foundation out. Whoa! That like landed on my foot just with my normal foundation brush. This colour may be too light. I'm at that awkward in-between stage of the tanning, and basically what I like to do is get the foundation on and I like to start blending away straight away. I know some people like to kind of put blobs on, but depending on what foundation you're using, especially if it is more of a long-lasting foundation, it can start to dry instantly and it can be a real pain to blend away later. That's why I like to just start blending away. Don't forget to get near your ears, definitely behind your ears if you're wearing your hair up. And of course, down your neck is very important. So I like to do just little kind of circular motions to blend away any kind of brush marks. We use the stippling brush on the other side. I just feel that there's not as much blending required with a stippling brush. So it kind of leaves the foundation not thicker, but it just gives you more of an airbrushed result. I don't know, it might just be me, but hey. I like to kind of let it air dry and just set in a little bit before I do any powder or anything like that. Okay, so now for under eye circles, I'm going to use my Physicians Formula Under Eye Concealer. I'm going to use the yellow shade because that is still best for counteracting dark circles. Now I like to include obviously dark circles and other concealing in my foundation routine because it is basically your overall base. So what I like to do is grab this. This is like a little metal roller as well, so it helps to cool down any puffiness. And basically I do a big triangle. I don't like to stick right to the dark circle because that can sometimes accentuate the dark circle. So I basically do a big triangle, and what I do is just leave that on my face. Just like that, just for a few minutes, because it's going to help set that product in. It's going to thicken it up slightly, so then when you blend it away, it's still easy to blend, but it just helps to really cover those dark circles because the product's more activated. For any blemishes around my face, what you want to do is find a concealer that's pretty much close to your foundation color. If it's a little bit lighter, it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to use my Go Camo. I always say Camo. Go Camo Full On Coverage Concealer. So what I like to do with this concealer, it's a little bit tricky if you haven't used it before, is just warm it up between my fingers, and then literally on top of my blemishes I'm going to pat it on. So a lot of blemishes can be the texture, and unfortunately you can't really cover the texture too much, but if you can really neutralize the color, that's going to help so much more. So basically just on those blemishes I'm going to pack that product on. Any excess just wipe around my face, and as you guys can see I haven't really blended that in. You can blend around the edges of your blemishes, but if you blend it in too much it's just going to make the product disappear and just be like you've got nothing on there. Alright, so I'm going to start just blending this in just slightly, just moving that product around a little bit more, because you can see how, you know, it's a little bit uneven from the roller. Blur that in. Any excess on the fingers, you can use that on any high points to kind of highlight a little bit more. Just going to leave that on for a little bit longer. I'm going to do my eyebrows in the meantime. I do have many brow tutorial routines on my channel. I'll link them in the description box below, just because otherwise this video is going to be way too long. But today I'm using my Eye of Horus Brow Define in the shade Nile, or medium dark. Okay, so now what I like to do is set everything, and then I can go back in if needed with a little bit more concealer and cover any of those areas. Whatever powder you want to use is up to you. You definitely don't have to use a powder if you've got dry skin or you just don't like powders. That's cool. If you wanted like the full-on coverage, you could use a mineral powder to set all of this, which is basically like another layer of foundation. So it is completely up to you. Just be careful that you don't go too full on with it, because then it can kind of go a little bit cakey. You could use a mattifying powder, like I've got this Arbonne one, and that will definitely matte out your face. Just be careful with really matte finishes of foundation, especially when you've got quite a heavy coverage, because that's when it can start to look a little bit cakey. My personal favourite is the Physicians Formula Mineral Airbrushing Pressed Powder. So this is an airbrushing pressed powder, so it gives your skin a beautiful glow, and I feel, especially when you have a fair bit of foundation or full coverage makeup on, something that gives your skin a little bit of a glow is going to help it look more natural. So what I like to do, especially under those eye areas, is just pat a little bit extra powder on. Definitely you can use a separate eye setting powder like the e.l.f. one, but it's completely up to you. Then the rest of it, I'm just going to really lightly buff it into the skin. So it's not just like packing it on, leaving it on. I actually like to full on get in there and buff it into the skin. That way it's going to help mix it with your foundation, and it's just going to give your skin a more natural finish. Alright, so now if you have any blemishes that are still annoying you, that you want to cover a little bit more, you can go back in with some more of that concealer, or you can use a different concealer if you like, and just pat it on top. So I feel that adding that powder layer in between is a really good thing, because it's going to help the second coat last better. It's not going to blur away, and it's actually going to work a little bit better. So it is personal preference on what you like to do, but I just feel that helps just that little bit more. Okay, so here you have the finished result. I have just very lightly contoured and added a little bit of blush and lip gloss, and yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This routine will work perfectly for any foundation. As I said, if it's not a full coverage foundation and you want to get a little bit more coverage, you can definitely go back in with an extra layer of foundation just on those areas where needed, so kind of spot treat it a little bit. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and have a fantastic Christmas. So I'm going to try my best to get some more videos up for you guys this week. My computer has actually chucked a tantrum. Most inconvenient time for this to happen, so I do apologize guys, and I'm really sorry. Hopefully I'll be back as soon as I can. I'm not going to put a date on it because I just don't know what's going on at the moment, so I do apologize. But yeah, definitely you guys can keep in touch with me, keep up to date with what I'm doing on my Instagram. So yeah. Alright guys, I love you all, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.